but there's really three different ChatGPT AI models. You have fully managed, you have hybrid, and you have public or unmanaged. And just a real quick synopsis of each. Fully managed is that, right? So you build an internally fully managed entity within the four walls of your organization. So you bring in these AI engines or these, chat engines, etc., within the four walls of your organization. They don't have any public exposure. So it learns and identifies and is able to communicate and have that conversational component on the data elements and the attributes, logs, data, whatever it is that you provide it. And then from there, it kind of learns and builds profiles based on the information and the attributes that it's being provided on a regular basis as it gets refreshed. You have a hybrid managed model, which is you have that fully managed component, but then what you're doing is you're actually enabling it to go out and connect to public sources to pull additional information, not to share, but to pull. And I'll explain the share thing in just a moment. So let's say that you're looking at this particular model of you want to know sales forecasting. In order to do that, you build this AI engine or using ChatGPT or OpenAI or one of these other chat platforms. And you want to have this conversational. What do I think my sales forecast is going to be for tomorrow? Well, by using a hybrid model, you can actually create these connectors that'll go out to things like AccuWeather or weather sources, or you can attach it to public sources within certain regions, or like let's say that you have certain municipalities, and it'll look for events, right? And then it'll collect that data and say, okay, well, last year your sales forecast was $1,000 a day, but we see or notice that there's, a good weather and there's this special event that's going on within the community. So expect your sales to increase by 40%, right? Something of the like, right? So you're allowing it to hit public sources to gain additional information that may help with identifying or completing that conversational thing. Then you got unmanaged or public. And that one, I'll kind of, I'm going to put my major security hat on this one, just so you guys are kind of aware, right? So that one is just that. It is public. So part of the issue that you have with those public AI or ChatGPT engines is a few items. One, they're only as good as the data that it's provided. So you got to keep that in mind. That data is being pulled from the internet. So, and unless all of you believe it, not everything on the internet we should believe, right? So let's just say it's not 100% accurate when it comes down to it, when you start asking it. The other thing that it does that we have to be very cautious with is we have to be able to understand that the information that we provide those public sources, it learns and it uses those learnings for other people, right? So again, it becomes a public source. So it's something to be very aware and very careful of. General information, not a big deal. When you start talking about, oh, I want to start, asking it questions on certain code that we may want to deploy, and it may have tags within your organization, or you're talking about confidential information or asking confidential data that you may be looking at from a benefit perspective within your organization that is more internal only, it's going to remember that question was asked, and it may ask questions or it may learn based on what you're asking it to do, and it will provide that information to someone else that may be asking, right? And I'll use just a really quick example of that. So let's say that you're looking to create some kind of code snippet for a new delivery platform. I'm just going to throw that out there and use this as a high level. You're asking it to, instead of you just asking it to develop your code, you actually submit code snippets that you want it to review, and you have tags of your organization in there, and it kind of has those line by lines. Well, one of the advantages of these ChatGPT or AI engines is it can actually go through and it'll validate or look to validate some of that source code and give you ideas, pointers, and direction. The problem with those public sources, though, is it then collects that information as well. So now it's also using it, because if it's good code, it now uses that as a reference point, right? So The issue becomes when somebody else goes, hey, show me any information or any code that you may have on Acme Company. All of a sudden, here's some code snippets. So bad actors have a tendency to want to utilize those types of services as well to see what kind of intelligence they can gather, right? So those are the things just to kind of be aware as we kind of go down this path of ChatGPT.
Yep.